Well, I say, when you see those ministers and they start talking, look, and they did take their sunglasses or their glasses off, that's when you know they're about to get really serious. I say, okay, we had the fun and games. So now I told you we're going to get back to the sellers that are selling out America. Well, you had this guy named Bill, and he thought he was like, the Bill of Wonders. And he said, we're going to have these bills, and we're going to make a lot of money. We're going to go over here. We're going to go to Texas. We're going to get a farm, and we're going to call it Rocket Ranch because, you remember, they had this movie on TV, man. They watched too much damn TV. They thought they was decoding all the intelligence and stuff. But, that's for certain families and certain people, that really understand that kind of stuff. So it's like, I think it's great that they were doing a bunch of drugs and psychedelic stuff and they just run over there to Texas like a bunch of sellers, like they're going to have their own coffee company. Forget Joe. Joe was supposed to do all this stuff. They got these movies and stuff about Joe and the Army Corps of Engineers. Hey, we got Joe, man. He's got amnesia, so we're going to play games with him. And we're going to do a rocket ranch out of Texas, man. We're going to build all this stuff. You say, hey, it's fake news. Did you guys wake up yet? Okay, let's give them the facts of life. And it says, I've forgotten more about rocket science, atoms and particles, computers and computations than most people learn in a lifetime. It's probably why when I learned all the big words, before they even taught me, hey, can you sound out these words and do this and that? Hey, you ain't even opened the book or the dictionary yet, and you don't even understand what these words mean. But can you look at this and tell us what it means? It's like, sure, man. This word, and here's this math, and you ain't even learned to do math like this yet, but I'm going to show you how to do math like this with no scratch paper. And man, how'd that kid do all that? And it says, well, when you got people running over to Texas talking about, hey, I'm Robert Sellers, man, because, Danger Will Robinson, lost in space, so we're going to make a space program in Texas, and we're going to get space tourism to Texas. Texas has got a fucking football team, man. They call them the Space Cowboys for Armageddon. Because if you ever try to launch a rocket out of Texas, they'll probably shoot your whole fucking area out of the sky and then blow up all your damn oil refineries, you fucking idiots. So if you have a fucking rocket that crashes over Texas and you got all those oil refineries, boom. So go ahead, save up your money and buy a rocket, you fucking morons. And here's the other part about that. The air is a little thinner over there because of lack of forestry, which means the moisture in the air ain't as thick. So there's nothing really for that thing to push off of, so you have to use even more fuel. So you're going to have a bigger rocket, super big rocket, with a lot more fuel, that if it blows up and lands down on the oil refineries and stuff, boom, then you're going to have a real big explosion. Now, they put a fake news on the internet about that a while ago, and they said, here's this big oil refineries and these chemical plants is blowing up and burning, man. Well, did they try to launch a space rocket from over there and it crash land and blow up all their oil refineries? When Judge Maxwell was over here with Judge Crawford from Texas, he was trying to tell those stupid idiots that. And he says, while you guys are trying to steal all this space technology and talk to Mr. Kirk and see what he knows, and then you want to run over to Texas, Judge Crawford looked at that dumb lady and said, like a whole different country over there. The forestry's different. The weather's different. The weather patterns are different. The air pressure's different. You got summer, you got snow. You realize Texas is about the same distance down from the equator line as Florida is, but you don't see it snowing in Florida, do you? No. Well, how's it snowing in Texas if it ain't snowing in Florida? It's probably because they use fucking weather machines up there up north to push the snow down there to try to get some water down there to keep the ground from drying out so you don't get fires with the little bit of forest that you have to don't blow up the fucking oil refinery. So go ahead and save your money and buy a rocket like you're going to put a space program rocket thing in Texas, because it's never going to happen. Okay, I'm glad we could have this history lesson. Now let's get back to that Top Gun flight school thing we were talking about, okay? You could probably do pilot schools and stuff out there in the middle of the damn desert for a Mars mission program to help out with the other desert stuff, but you ain't never gonna launch a space rocket from over there. Okay, now we've had that discussion. I'm glad it took me 2 years to prove that point. I just wanted to prove the point, And now we're gonna do some really cool stuff for the kids.